officers went. They had to wait. Those people had to go to their church, finish the church before they came back by 10.
So how did the court case play out? I guess it was thrown out.
Yeah, I need to find out, how, it went. But if we're respecting the rights of people, their right to religious. In other countries, they hold elections on work days.
That's what the neighbor Boduri said.
He shut down the whole country.
We know Pentecostal churches in Nigeria fast January.
Yeah.
So you pushed it from February to even some people are saying in the southeast we are itinerant. We go to the we travel during holidays. And when we are traveling back, you expect us also. So there's a whole lot of interest.
I want on this program that issue of religion must be downplayed. President Shehu Shagari was elected. The election where he was elected in 1979 took place on the 18th day of Ramadan of that year,
and nobody raised any
issue. And people came out to vote.
In their conscience.
And people came out to vote. And so, but when you start reading the religion, the totality of it is that you are giving room for another group to complain. And that's essentially what we are witnessing now. But the way and manner that it is handled is what matters most, in such a way that it doesn't lead to friction and it's resolved peacefully. The Seventh-day Adventist group, for instance, I have on an say, are you going to vote? Say no. We can't say, are you going to vote? Say no. We can't compromise. We're not going to vote because we are not. They don't consider us as Nigeria. So these are issues that are supposed to be looked.
If we can ignore them and still continue to hold the elections on Saturday, why should we bend to any person? I recall you were against the shift when it happened, because there is always a reason when it falls on a particular day, genuine as it may be. When it falls on a particular day, genuine as it may be. For those concerned to also raise you and cry.
All right, good morning, everyone. I am Onushorana Obozege, and here are some of your mails. First one is from Henry Ewunano from Abuja, and it aligns with the conversation by the analyst. It says, INEC has revised the presidential election date to January 16, 2027, in response to legal amendment and religious concerns. I feel this day, one day after a very busy day in government circles, which is the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration, and 15 days after the New Year's Day, will cause a lot of logistical challenges and disenfranchise citizens who are yet to return from the end of the year festivities. It means that some cross-sections of the voting demography may not participate, as they will be away from the locations where they registered to vote. Is Nigeria ready for the wahala that may emanate from another January 15 sad memories? Also in alignment is a mail from Alimosho in Lagos State, sent in by Emmanuel Nkama. Says, good morning to you, dear political platform crew. Please, I crave your indulgence to observe that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has shifted the presidential election of 2027 from 20th of February 2027 to 16th of January 2027, and the governorship election House of Assembly from 6th of March 2027 to 6th of February 2027 due to the Ramadan and Lent fasting and prayers of Muslims and Christians is an aberration and is suspicious. This is because the government did not declare public holidays during the days of fasting, and people still go about their businesses and work unperturbed. Unfortunately enough, this rescheduled date of the election is capable of affecting the opposition parties who are having one outstanding court cases or the other. The opposition parties and Atiku, Obi, Amechi have since rejected the new election date of INEC, but it's like crying over spilled milk, because they and other prominent ADC chieftains should have protested this lopsided INEC decision at the National Assembly before now. Kerry is calling on the new INEC to always act as an independent body. It says at a time of deep economic hardship, such news should bring comfort. Eyebrows is the claim that the transfers were carried out digitally. Did he say digitally? Many Nigerians are asking, is this the same digital system considered unreliable for real-time transmission of election results? Are there now strong digital networks for cash transfers that citizens cannot verify, yet no dependable network for electoral transparency? These are not unreasonable questions. In a democracy, accountability builds trust. It says if 9 million families have truly been reached, then transparency should follow. Clear data, open verification, and evidence the public can see. Because in difficult times, hope must not only be announced, it must be proven. In this country, a time is coming for transparency because a new Nigeria must be made possible in our time. Possible for him is spelled capital letter O, capital letter P, and then Sibo. From Abuja is a Jafar Isife who says, when the government decided to proliferate regional development commissions, I was among those who strongly opposed the move. My position was anchored on the monumental failure that trailed the Niger Delta Development Commission, an agency that over time became widely perceived as a conduit for embezzlement on an unimaginable scale. Allegations ranged from houses reportedly built for girlfriends to a landscape dotted with substandard and abandoned projects across the region. At the recent budget defense of the Southeast Development Commission, it was troubling to observe that frivolities appeared to receive more attention than pressing developmental concerns. Conferences were prioritized, and the procurement of security equipment was emphasized, even though governors already receive monthly security votes. Meanwhile, the deplorable state of schools across the Southeast remained largely unaddressed. Critical investments such as regional power infrastructure, which could catalyze economic growth and strengthen small businesses, were seemingly treated as non-essential until we become deliberate and disciplined in how we establish, manage, and oversee ministries, departments, and agencies. The endemic corruption arising from overlapping responsibilities and institutional duplication will continue to thrive and further entrench inefficiency in governance. That's how much you can have. Thank you so much. Please continue to send your thoughts to politicalplatform@dargroup.com.
Thank you so much for the mails. Well, regional development commissions, many of them that were created did not have any budget. They started organizing conferences. Let's harness. And I think that what the Southeast Development Commission did was notable. They just didn't just sit idle like others. They said, let's just use this period to get the views of people of the area on the development trajectory we will follow. Let's hope that they will give them money in 2026. Anyway, the budget has not even been passed and we're moving into March. So you can guess what the outcome will be. They should get ready for other conferences. Now, what options do the opposition leaders have? They can challenge either the act in its entirety leaders have. They can challenge either the act in its entirety in court or provisions of it. If they believe the National Assembly has no right to dictate, which I believe, to political parties on its internal affairs, such as how do you organize your primaries, they can go to court and challenge it. But as they're doing that, some people will readily tell me, you know who controls the courts.
One of the letters, the letter from one of our listeners, particularly on the issue of transfers to poorest of the poor. I think that letter is not one that should be ignored. A situation where some of the things we do are doubtful, when there are no reliable statistics on who the beneficiaries.
Verifiable
beneficiaries. I think it's an issue that we should not be treating as if it does not matter. It matters. During COVID, we witnessed monumental fraud in the name of feeding school children who are with their parents at home, and they said they were being provided food. It turned out to be that it's so. These are issues that I think if accountability matters to us, that we
for want of time, let's bring in a Tebe for his final words.
Those who will go to court, if they will, which some of them said yesterday, some said they will even go to embassies.
Court of international opinion.
All of that. I think that will be for a later day. They need to put on their thinking caps, like we advised. We need to put on their thinking caps and do things differently. They must be ahead. If they want to make any impact in the next election, they must be ahead of the ruling party. They must be, and they must not sit and wait for Nigerians to fight their fight.
They've been reactive instead of being proactive.
It's not when Nigerians went to demonstrate that some of them started coming out to join, and this they have to fight their fight. If you don't fight their fight, the way APC did before overthrowing the PDP, I'm sorry for that.
We'll have to go now. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a weekend, and let's do it again on Monday. My name is Amici Anapur.